Well, since we're talking about Barbie, do we want to start out with Barbie
Yeah,
or
speaking of Barbie, yeah, pull it up. Pull it up.
we'll pull
Let
it
me
up?
know if at any moment you need me to take over because I know you're getting over being sick. So if you need me to take over any articles, let me know.
I think I should be good with at least the first one. The second one, we might just do alternating
Yeah,
to
and
give me a little
also
bit.
if you need to skip through, don't you know what I mean? Because sometimes there's filler in the articles.
I get
That's
to
a
use pink font again. Yay! Okay, Barbie's unexpected villain twist explained. Why it happened and what comes next. Ooh,
oh
I didn't
god.
realize Barbie was a villain. Greta Gerwig's Barbie defies expectations, but a villain twist halfway through the movie subverts the plot and offers an unexpected ending. I love that. Ryan Gosling looks so
He was really funny in this. He definitely stole the show.
Warning, this article contains spoilers about the Barbie movie. I'm
Hi
still going to see it.
A2.
Etu, hello.
Yeah, so warning for everyone, there's going to be some spoilers in this article.
Oh my god, we're going to have our expectations subverted.
Yeah, I for one thought that this was going to be an Oscar-worthy performance, film of the year because it's Barbie. I'm joking, by the way. So okay.
Let's see. I've noticed men reviewing Barbie really hate the feminist messaging, while women see the fun set design and costumes as a plus.
Yeah, because
I
Tara,
think
can you imagine? Just imagine that this Barbie movie was actually made for girls. What? So grown men, it wasn't supposed to like they were supposed to feel like represented. They thought that it was for them, and I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry that it wasn't. I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
I'm feeling sassy this week because I've seen way too many just like silly tweets and stuff, and I'm just like, it's a movie about a doll. That's it. Don gets it.
Wicked just satire better than the Barbie supposedly does. All right, for a movie that subverts expectations at every turn. Basically, it's a Barbie show movie. It's post anyway. Greta, whatever that last name is, Barbie surprises
Gerwig.
fans. Gerwigs. See, Cajun says Tugs wanted a refund. Interesting. Surprises fans by revealing its villain twist halfway through the movie, leading to a massive plot change-up and an unexpected ending. Gerwig's satirical romp opens with Barbie
Margot Robbie. I got you.
Margot Robbie.
Don't you say Thornburg, Americus. Don't confuse poor Mando. She was sick.
Traveling to the real world to find out why she doesn't feel quite right in the pink plastered utopia of Barbie Land. Her kin, Ryan Gosling, faithfully following her to find the human who might be causing the problem. The real world proves to be quite a shock for the dolls, particularly because it mostly caters to men, whereas Barbie Land is a mecca of female empowerment and accomplishment. What?
How dare you? That's what Americans wanted me to say, and I know he did.
How dare you?
How dare you? How dare you? That's everybody watching the Barbie movie right now.
Ken finds the patriarchal structure of the... I can't say... structure of the real world fascinating, and while he's essentially about as qualified to beach there as he is in Barbie Land, he's treated quite a bit better by complete strangers there than by any of the other characters in Barbie. When Barbie gets kidnapped by Mattel personnel, Ken heads back to Barbie Land with a new ideological perspective and a passion for spreading the patriarchy to Kens everywhere. What happens next leads to a villain twist that completely changes the second half of the film, while also leading to some of its most profound and touching messages.
No, Ken is the hero we all wanted. All right, he was the hero of this movie, and I'm sticking to it.
Seen plenty of movies targeted to girls, but didn't insult the audience with politics or ideas. I mean,
yeah, but there's real quick what I'm going to touch on with this, because I've been like in group chats with lots of women who were talking about this. The way this, especially in Barbie Land, I wish they would have kept it just in Barbie Land, kind of like Legoland, and let it be just like a silly, just Barbie Land. Do the real world stuff is what was pushing the message and ruined it, but I still think there was plenty of funny moments in it. And there's a lot of women that agree with that. There's only, to be honest, there's only a handful of women that are like, that didn't like it. And it's fine. Everyone's opinion is valid. I totally understand. I see things in a couple, there was eye rolls, but there was a few funny parts that made me giggle. I was like, okay. And then I'm like, the thing that I'm pushing is this is a Barbie movie. I understand people are upset, but like, of course, there's going to be feminism in it. Barbie's a feminist icon. I mean, you could do feminism right and you could do it wrong. And unfortunately, especially these days, it is done wrong because it shouldn't be about pushing men down. It should be about equality. That's what it's supposed to be. So yeah, I get it. But like, if they would have kept it in Barbie Land, it would have been funny. Like they had it. The premise is a little girl playing with Barbies. Like when she comes off the roof, she just floats off the roof. She doesn't walk off the roof because like when little girls are playing with Barbies, and the whole Ken thing, it's again from a little girl's point of view. The little girls, when I was a little girl, I had one Ken and I had like 10 Barbies. Ken was, he solely existed to be Barbie's boyfriend, and that's just how it was for little girls. That's how it was. And I've had this chat with plenty of women my age, and we're talking about this, right? It doesn't make it okay. They could have changed it. I would have preferred it if they were more equal and they were like in love, because they're not like in love with it. But it's not so far fetched that he's obsessed with Barbie because Ken was created to be Barbie's boyfriend. That's just toy history. So in Barbie Land, there was people going crazy, like they make Ken homeless and they're all mad about it. But I'm like, again, look at this from a little girl's point of view, because that's what it's supposed to be. They don't have Ken sleeping in the Barbie dream house with Barbie because little girls aren't thinking like that. You know what I mean? Like there's even a funny scene where he goes, "Can I stay the night?" And she's like, "Why?" And not like in a mean way. She's like, "Why?" And he's like, "Because we're boyfriend girlfriend." And that sounds like a little girl would say that. And she's like, "Well, what do we do?" And he's like, "I don't know." Like because little kids, it's a little kid train of thought, like, and then he just like goes off because little girls in the real world just like toss Ken in the toy bin and Barbie sleeping in her little bed. And that's the thing. And people didn't think about it like that, especially not men, because they didn't play with Barbies. So it's not that I'm defending it, but like in that sense, when they were in Barbie Land, it's what makes sense because it's just how it works. The real world stuff, in my opinion, is what ruined it. But there were some funny moments, like when they all start throwing up because she is flat footed. And then, like the one Ken is like, "Oh, a gag," and she's like, "Ken, stop!" And he's like, "I got upset," because they're just like they think it's disgusting. And the weird Barbie, I thought that was hilarious that she's forever in a split and like has cut hair because some little girl cut her hair and drew on her face with a marker and just like jacked her up. That was so.
That would be my little sister's Barbies.
Yeah, and then like in the group chat, I mean, we started talking about like little sisters and little brothers that like ruined our Barbie dolls and ripped their heads off and stuff. And it's just because that's what little kids do. That was the whole point of this. And that's another reason why putting the messages in was stupid. Exactly, Randy. And that's the point that I'm getting at. I'm just like, I understand people have their opinions on it, but people that are like, just like really mad about it, it's like, take a step back. Barbie's a doll. It's a children's toy. It wasn't going to be an Oscar-worthy film of the year, film of the century. Even if they took the messaging out, it would have just been an okay movie, like with silly little things in it. People are dissecting it and making things out of it that aren't really there. Again, I didn't give it a high score. I didn't think it was a fantastic movie, but it's a Barbie movie. I'm probably going to say that like 30 more times before this month's over. It's a Barbie movie. It's a Barbie.
But Americus does bring up a serious question.
Yeah, Americus, I do. So after talking with girls, right? So when I saw, we'll go back. When I saw the trailer to this, I was pretty hyped. I was like, this is gonna be a silly, stupid girl movie. It's made for girls. 100%. This is made for girls my age, like Gen X, millennials, tweens, like just girls, right? It's a Barbie movie. Like guys can like Epic Mike even admitted there were some pretty funny parts. He gave it a D+, but he was like, he laughed. There were some funny moments. So, but every girl I've talked to, besides a handful of them, like it wasn't great. This movie wasn't fantastic by any means, but I don't understand what the problem is, like why people are so mad about it. Because we look at it as if we're little girls again. But it's the real world stuff. I'll say again that messes it up. But yeah, because there's some people saying some crazy stuff. Like I don't want to get into stuff, but like in the beginning, which they show this in the trailer, they're talking about toy history, right? And they show a bunch of little girls with little baby dolls. Like from the dawn of time, there's been dolls, and little girls have dolls, but it was always a baby doll. And then they show Barbie, and it's like dun 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 dun. The little girl's just like, and to a little girl, I can only imagine when Barbie first dropped, like, oh, I could dress her up, I could make her pretty, I could make her whatever I want to make her. And that was the whole feminist thing. Like, Barbie can be whatever you want Barbie to be. And that's kind of what they do in the movie, too. Whatever you want Barbie to be. So they're chucking their dolls, and people took that as them. You could take it as how you want, but I just really thought this was kind of a stretch. They took it as them trying to tell little girls to yeet their babies in a bad way. And I'm like, I didn't get that message. I got it as, well, we finally don't have to just play with baby dolls. We have a Barbie. I really don't think they went that deep with the messaging, and that was my thing. I don't think they thought that deep into the messaging. I'm not coming at anyone that thought that, but like, as a little girl, I watched my nieces grow up and they loved their baby dolls, but after they hit like age 5 or something, they were so into the Barbies. Like, they loved dressing them up, changing their hair, cutting their hair, and wanting to grow back. Like, stuff like that. It just, I looked at this solely as just some silly movie that was made for kids, but I was telling Mando before I start, See America says it too. Like, it's toy history, and that is strictly just toy history. That, little girls had baby dolls, and then Barbie came, and they were like, oh, that's like boys having those little like plastic toy soldiers, and then GI Joe comes.
Well,
that
also,
too,
like,
Dawn. The movie, Dawn's seen the movie. I didn't think that it was anti-motherhood. And as a mom myself, looking at it, there was nothing anti-motherhood about it.
and the thing to understand that unless you're a parent or somebody who has babysat a lot of kids, I've babysat a lot of kids. Little kids, if they're done with a toy, they don't just gently set it down. They go yeet
through the window, broken vase.
right?
Not even joking, it'll happen. Like,
yeah,
I have been hit in the head with toys numerous times because I worked at a daycare. I have a lot of kids, like, Mando knows. It's like, got a black eye once from Barbie. Like, it's
like, and so like, if I haven't seen the movie, but like if I saw that, I'd be like, yeah, that's pretty accurate. If you say, hey, little girl or little kid, here's a new toy, they're gonna look at the toy in their hands and they're gonna go, bye.
But yeah, Don's right. Like, the anti-motherhood thing. There's a mother and daughter in it. And there's nothing wrong with it. They kind of push it. No, you're fine. It wasn't a great movie. I think everyone's opinions are valid, but I just think some of the stuff was a bit of a stretch when it's just like, guys, it's just a Barbie movie. It's really not that serious. But yeah, but still, they were just being dramatic with it. It wasn't because of that. As a girl that liked Barbies and baby dolls and watched, I've seen a lot of little girls that go from the baby dolls to the Barbie. That's not what it is. And they even talk about, like, at the end, she says, like, can you make an ordinary Barbie? Like, she could be a mom, or she doesn't want to be a mom. She doesn't have to be a mom. Like, she's just ordinary Barbie. She's whatever she wants. Like, they do that. They put so that. But another thing they were saying was something about the mom and the daughter dynamic in it, because like the daughter's like mean to the mom, and it's like, I think this was mostly maybe men saying this, and it's like, listen, once you hit middle school, you kind of like, mom, stop, I want to be with my friends. That is just normal. I was like that. Every little girl's like that, and boys are probably like that too. I don't know, maybe because maybe boys are more mama's boys, but they want to go hang out with their friends. They want to do their thing, and that's what happens with this little girl in it. And it's like they make it look all sad because they show the mom and daughter playing with Barbies, like she's reminiscing with her little girl, and then it goes like as she gets older, like, mom, stop. That is 100% real life. And then they end up bonding again, and so it's like that's not anti-motherhood. Every little girl goes through that phase. It's called puberty. Mando giggles, but yeah, it's for boys and girls. Some of the stuff was just a bit of a stretch. It's just a Barbie movie. Of course, there's been messaging in movies forever. And it's just the fact. It's just how it is. I just think some things were just a little, and if you didn't like it, that's fine. I didn't think it was great. I'm just defending certain parts. Like, I giggled a few times in it, and I thought there was some funny stuff. Ryan Gosling was really good in this. I really enjoyed Ryan's performance in this, even though, he was just Ken, but it just got a little too read. People read into it a little bit too much, and just like, you go in there, you're like, you know what, I didn't really like that. Cool, that's fine, but like some of the stuff is just a little weird, and I just disagree with some of it. But I do 100% agree with it. There's a messaging in it. There's feminism in it, but feminism exists. That's not, and the fact that in the movie, though, this is something that's always going to bug me because we're never going to get a straight answer about it. they push very hard that the real world is run by men and it's like not as good or whatever because it's run by men, right? Barbie Land's perfect, it's ran by women. But then why, spoiler alert, nobody cares, but I'm just going to be nice and say it in case somebody cares. She decides she wants to go live in the real world that's run by men. So like what's the message there? That the world is better ran by men, or like that's where people are like getting confused. I really do think that this was supposed to be more satire, but they just didn't do it that well. And because there's so much wokeness that happens and stuff that when you try to do something kind of satire like that, it gets lost on people. So I understand that because there's too much. And I told Mando before the stream started, nowadays in certain climates, like if Barbie was made 10 years ago, I don't think anybody would blink an eye about it. They might just be like, oh, that was kind of dumb, but whatever, it's for kids, is what they would say, right? Legally Blonde, people loved that movie. If that came out now, people would say that it was feminist garbage because it was like the privileged white male that was paid into college, and he was like a womanizer, and like if you've seen the movie, you got to think about it. It's just the times now, and it's sad that it's like that, but it's not really like our faults for thinking like that because there are garbage movies that come out and do nothing but push messages. We've seen IPs like Star Wars ruined in the name of freaking wokeism. So it's not, I'm not coming at anybody. I totally understand why people are being like that. But to me, I'm just like, this is just a Barbie movie. Mm-hmm. It's just a Barbie movie. Like, that's, yeah, that's me. I need a Barbie of me just like,
So Ken is the surprise villain of the Barbie movie.
That's the hero we all needed. I'm sticking to it.
That sounds like actually one time my sister and I were playing Barbies and Ken became the supervillain in our little world.
They created the movie Blame Mando. No,
I'm sorry. Wait, I need to call my sister and be like, hey, did you sell them the script that we did when you were 5 and I was 8?
But we were talking about that actually in what's up, Miss Martin Muses? In a chat, and I had talked about how weird we were. Like we would talk about weird things that we did with Barbies, and I liked my Posh and my Posh Spice and my Jasmine Barbie at this moment that I'm talking about. Those were my favorite Barbies. And I had my boy cousin who was my best friend, and I'd like play dolls with me, and the boys would be like, "No, Ken's gay." You know what I mean? He would never play with Ken. So poor Ken, man. Justice for Ken. Us little girls were not nice to Ken. But he played with his Hulk Hogan. And he would always have to rescue Posh and Jasmine from The Undertaker. Kids are weird. That's what we did. But he didn't want to be Ken because, yeah. So, I mean, for real, though, justice for Ken. I feel bad now. Little girls, like I said, we don't. We all agreed that we all had like 10 Barbies and one Ken. And he solely existed to like marry one of the Barbies.
Bro, like I had Transformers and stuff, and like we'd play games where my Transformers like would play with the Barbies. It was just, yeah, it was Toy Story all over again.
I said that one of the girls in the chat said that her sister removed her Barbie's head and like dangled it from something, and I was like, "Was your sister Sid?"
Just when fans think that the Mattel CEO is going to be the villain of the Barbie movie, it turns out to be Ken. After traveling to the real world with Barbie and discovering that it's a patriarchy that caters almost exclusively to men, he vows to return to Barbie Land and introduce the rest of the Kens to its principles. Eventually, he completely overruns Barbie Land's female-led system of government and resource allocate. Oh my God.
Mattel, yeah, just let her have this, Americas. It's okay.
Resource allocation to favor the Kens, turning all the Barbies from presidents, journalists, and astronauts to airheads with no other purpose or function other than serving the needs of all the Kens. I mean, technically, that's kind of what
that scene I loved. I don't care what anyone says. They did a Grease Lightning scene, and I was like. Ryan Gosling, I think people can agree that if they didn't like this movie, that Ryan Gosling was good in it. But John said it earlier that the actors did a good job, but it was they missed the mark. I said that in my review. My review I thought was very fair. I talked about what I didn't like about it, but I also talked about points of it that I did like. So
Ken's villain turn, while shocking, not really, isn't exactly unprecedented. According to the narrator at the beginning of the film, Barbie had a good day every day, but Ken only ever had a good day if Barbie looked at him, creating an imbalance of power. Ken grew increasingly resentful of having to compete for Barbie's attention, not just because of other Kens, but because Barbie never needed him for anything and was perfectly self sufficient. The real world showed Ken that he could have his needs catered to for no other reason than because he was a man. And he sought to show Barbie how it felt to be relegated to an accessory. I mean,
As I said, the real world stuff was kind of annoying, but that was like 5 minutes, that part, because like they go to the real world and then Ken sees all the stuff, he finds books, and this is where I feel like a satire. He literally is grabbing books about patriarchy and he's excited because of horses. He thought that it had a lot more to do with horses. He even says that like in the movie, like, I'm gonna be honest, once I found out horses weren't that big of a part of it, I kind of checked out. Like I forgot how he words it, but I didn't care about it that much anymore. When like, and there's a scene where all the Kens go up, like the Barbies are like forming like a group of like going against them, and the Kens go up and they go like they're riding a horse. And it's like this is like a little girl playing with them.
yes.
Her brother busted in and took over the Barbie's world. Okay.
Yep. I mean,
America's. I can't. Don't ask. And he saw like a book with a horse on it, I think, and he's like, and he saw. Okay, so he saw a book with like a horse on it. He saw like the police officers that are like on horses. He's like, ooh, oh, like he just got really excited about it because he's like, these men are wearing horses, like riding horses, and he sees like the men in gyms like fist bumping, and he's just like, he's just like, oh my god, like this bro love is great. They have horses. This is awesome.
You put about as much thought into it as a 5-year-old girl would.
Who would have thought?
I think of all the reviews I heard from the ladies, all of us said it could have been a really good movie. Mind you, the reviews range from 3 to 7.
Yeah, you're right. They could have, and I said that like they missed the mark. It could have when you watch this, you could see how great it could have been. If they
I feel like there's so many things coming out recently that's like, oh, you're so close, but
you just missed it. Yeah, exactly. Like, exactly, Americus. That's what I'm saying. Like some girl's little brother busted in and messed up Barbie Land. That's what it seems like happened. And people were mad about that, but because it went over their heads that this is supposed to be kids, like it's kids playing with Barbies. And I know that they sat there and probably watched a group of kids like playing with Barbies, and some of the storyline probably was literal like what kids did playing with the Barbies. I mean, that would be the smart thing to do since they went this route. It was like a Gundam sound thing. They're like, and it was really funny. They were making the noise, and it was funny. Ken stuff was great. I loved Ryan Gosling in this. But yeah, Don, you're right. Like I gave it a 6, and that was only because of certain funny parts and because of Ryan Gosling. If Ryan Gosling wouldn't have been in this, if those certain little funny parts wouldn't have been in it, I would have been like, oh god, it was terrible. But I went into it thinking it was going to be worse than it even was, because everybody, which to be fair was a lot of grown men, and it just, I think that was a satire of it, like making it PG-13 is like yeah, it was supposed to be like girls playing by Americus, like playing with them, but they had little jokes in there and probably had to make it PG-13. Like as a little girl, some of the jokes would have went like over my head, but because she says like, I don't have a vagina and he doesn't have a penis, that line alone could have been why it was PG-13. Like it wasn't that bad, but granted, Americus is going to find a horse now.
I must find the horse.
But like I said, my mom took me to see There's Something About Mary in theaters when I was little, but to her defense, her friend told her it was fine for me to see, but I was a kid and it was not. Her mom reflexes went hard with the zipper scene. I didn't see a thing. She just knew what was about to happen, was like, whoa, and covered, and I was like, what? What's happening? So a lot of those jokes were lost on me as a kid, though. Like I rewatched it as an adult and I was like, oh shoot, this is funny. But I probably shouldn't have been in the theater watching it when I was in the single digits. But
I mean, there was lots of things that I watched when I was in the single digits that I think about now, and I'm like,
yeah,
where was the adult supervision?
My mom let me watch Pretty Woman when I was a kid.
Same.
And I loved it. But a prostitute. I didn't know that. I really didn't know that, though. I didn't know the concept of it all, which is why it's like, okay, certain movies are just gonna go right over the kid's head. Brett Favre, or they couldn't say his name in the movie. Yeah, that's a good one. But yeah, I just think this movie was people dived into it a bit too much. Yeah, the messaging was there, but messaging is everywhere in movies. Like you can't really escape it. And if there's gonna be a movie that has feminism in it, is it really that insane to think that a Barbie feminist icon movie was the one that had it? Is that what you watched? Listen, my poor brother, he was like 5. I wasn't born yet. No, younger than that. I wasn't born yet. But my dad, I guess, thought it would be funny. Nightmare on Elm Street, when Johnny Depp dies, when he gets sucked in the bed and the blood squirts out, he goes, "Oh, hey, look at this." And had my brother see that when he was little. I'm like, dang, scarred for life. So, what our parent, like the boomer / Gen Z parents, or sorry, Gen X parents, they really didn't shelter us. So that's why we're like, I'm not very like, because they said the word penis. I don't think I had a 6-year-old girl sitting next to me, and certain jokes that might have been lost on her, but like the silly stuff that you could tell was meant for the kids, she giggled at. And I was like, good for you.
Very nice.
And it's funny because I see people like sharing pictures of like, this is who likes Barbie, and it's all like radical left looking people. But that's in like New York and California. I'm in Florida. I saw a couple that looked normal. There was a family with like, 6, 7, 8-year-old, just normal people. There was like some teenage girls that were like in a group that getting ready to go into the showing, but like after me. So it depends on where you are. Like when you're in like New York and California, you see those weirdos going into every movie because it's New York and California. And one thing, I saw a little girl, I don't know how old she was, but she was young, and she had this really cute like pink dress that said Barbie and the Barbie logo all over it, and she had pink popcorn, and I was like, aw. So it's not, I don't know, it's not as crazy as some people are saying.
I
In
think
my
there's a happy
opinion.
medium in
Yeah.
all of this. Am I gonna probably see the Barbie movie? Probably, because for some odd reason, even though I was not really big into Barbies, like I was more of the tomboy, but my sister would like make me play Barbies with her all the time. And so like I saw all of the Barbie movies. I had so many Barbies. And so I'm just like, I'll probably watch it because I watched most of the Barbie movies growing up, and it just makes sense. I'll, see how it is. I mean, I watched the Barbie what was it, Christmas special, the Nutcracker also. That was actually a really good one, if any of you are
I think
curious
I've
about
seen that one. So I actually, because the Barbie cartoons came out like past kind of like when I was a little too old for them, but I seen some of them because of my niece. And
I watched them
some of
'cause
them
my
are
sister.
cute. And the Nutcracker one, yeah.
That one was, I think I'd probably still watch it to this day. It was a pretty good movie, animated movie. So yeah, that's Barbie. I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world.
Yes. Mando is just a Alabama girl in an Alabama world.
Yay!